there is no secret. With this industry, you have to come in and be ready to give everything, 7-day weeks, very long hours, particularly in that first year when you're just getting off the ground and getting things moving. If you really want to get up to speed. Well, that was my approach. Others might have approached it differently. And this year, I'm trying to fix that balance, but ultimately, it's always going to be a job that demands a lot.
Joshua Milton Edwards, welcome to the Rebel Agent podcast.
Thank you very much for having me.
You've been a huge success story at Dubai Marina, so I'm really looking forward to getting into that.
Thank you.
Maybe you can give a bit about your background and we'll dive in.
Yeah, sure thing. So, as you know, I've been at Espace Real Estate for just over 2 years now. Went straight into the sales team. I'm focusing on Marina as my main community. I'd actually come to Dubai about a year before I went into real estate, was doing recruitment actually in an in-house function. So I had a sort of good soft landing.
And which company was that you were recruiting for?
It was with a company called Alphasight. So they are sort of a global expert network.
Yeah, because I did do a bit of research and I couldn't make out the other companies you worked for. Yeah, it all makes sense. I couldn't work out if it was about like information and communication.
Yeah.
A lot of corporate-y stuff. But
they basically just work as a matchmaker for industry experts and anyone who might need that expertise. So I was sort of recruiting for their sales team, started in their London office. Got the relocation out to here because I'd spent quite a bit of time in the Middle East growing up and I had that cultural capital. So yeah, they give me a relocation package over here, which I was grateful for. And like I say, got the soft landing into this industry, which is really sort of what I love and is the fit for me.
Yeah, so you started with Espace, 2 years ago, September 23.
Yeah, just had the 2-year anniversary.
And you had success very early on. How did that happen? What were the secrets?
The secrets, really there is no secret. With this industry, you have to come in and be ready to give everything, 7-day weeks, very long hours, and essentially, particularly in that first year when you're just getting off the ground and getting things moving, you have to forget about every other aspect of life.
That's the approach you took.
And just focus on
work.
Yeah.
If 7 days a week.
If you really want to get up to speed. Well, that was my approach. Others might have approached it differently. And this year, I'm trying to fix that balance, look after my health a bit more and tend to other parts of life. But ultimately, it's always going to be a job that demands a lot.
Yeah. And you cover the marina.
Yeah.
You live at the marina and work at the marina. Do you think that's important?
Definitely. In the yeah. I tell people all the time, live in marina, offices in marina, only ever brokered exclusively in that area pretty much. And it goes a long way, especially when you're actually doing viewings or trying to introduce opportunities in the building that you live in.
Yeah.
And that's the easiest sort of sign.
Well, you can certainly do your elevator pitch, can't you?
Exactly. So no, it goes a long way.
And there's a feeling, because I know you live at Emaar 6.
Yeah.
And there's a feeling, not of superiority, but it's one of the best communities within the Dubai Marina, isn't it?
Yeah.
And there's just that feeling of, we're living. And so you get talking to people very easily, I guess.
Yeah, for sure. And actually, it was one of the brilliant things that Espace offered when I joined, which was sort of a quote unquote mentorship program where I was, assigned a mentor, wonderful guy called Adam Lewis, who's a real sort of industry vet in Marina. And his area of specialism was always Emaar 6. And so it introduced me early on and, it became very clear that was aspirational.
Yeah.
So I thought, let's go for it. It was more of, it was just as much a business decision as it was a lifestyle decision.
Yeah.
Because I was kind of hoping, and it ended up being that way, that, you would do enough business through the people that you were meeting and the connections you were making in there to make the big difference in rent worth it. But it's a wonderful place to live.
Yeah, spend some more money on rent, but then you soon see it back in commission because you're in a better area, and it works. Yeah. So you had this really good first year, and then we were discussing earlier, weren't we? Then you hit a bit of a dip. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, sure. I mean,
because the great thing is it's all come back again. So but
for sure. I mean, the dips are part and parcel of the job. I mean, I had taken, I think it was about 2 months off in total at the start of the year. Anyone who's in the business knows that, you take a week off and you lose 3 weeks worth of business, let alone taking a couple of months off. So, when I came back, it was really sort of working to start from scratch. And those periods are really when you just have to believe in the process and trust in the steps that you're taking. It happens all the time. You can be doing work for a couple of months, giving it your everything, and things might not manifest, things might fall through. But luckily, things should come back.
Yeah, it's talked about quite a bit, isn't it? I know Seth Godin, the marketing guy, talks about the dip. So you have this period at the beginning where you're really successful, then you hit this a period where it is tough. Yeah. Some people call it the wall, and you just got to get through it. Yeah. And especially if you have a bit of time off and you got to get going again. Yeah. But then you went back to it and really started grinding, didn't you?
For sure. And that was actually in the dead of summer. And I would contend nowadays, because, it used to be a bit of an industry idea that, over the summer, nothing really goes on. Nobody's around to do business. But, I've had 2 brilliant summers in a row. I think that's in part because I do Marina, and you have a lot of investor owners and investor buyers who aren't necessarily sort of not doing business or not taking an opportunity because they're on holiday. I think you get that a lot more with the sort of family-focused and end-user communities.
Yeah.
But it might just be an evolution of the market that, business just does not stop.
Well, I think in the past it was more a case of it would go quieter in the summer.
Yeah.
But Dubai's just busy all year round. Okay, it's a bit busier in the winter. Yeah. And then some brokers will have the summer off, all parts of the summer off. So that just means the brokers that stay possibly going to...
And that's a big point, because your competition is cut in half over the summer. I mean, we were talking earlier. I mean, it's almost like every other month the business gets more competitive, even when you thought that, that competition was as hot as it could be. But it's unrelenting. That volume of competition is just ever increasing.
What's it, 30,000 registered brokers now in Dubai, isn't it?
And probably another 5, 10 unregistered?
And unofficial ones.
At least. So that's why the summers are great for me. I really enjoy, because I get a bit of a kick out of the idea that, you're making up for the time where other people are snoozing.
Yeah. On the beach and you're...
exactly.
Grafting away. Yeah. Let's talk a bit about Espace, because I think the company was founded in 2009, which is ancient, isn't it, in Dubai real estate terms. There aren't many brokerages older than that. How did it go? You were interviewed, were you? How did it all work out that you ended up there? Did you look at other brokerages? Or?
I did. I'd got offers from a couple of different brokerages, sort of offering similar things in terms of the length of their establishment or their size or their caliber. But actually, it was funny because, a couple of people that were from the same area as me, some actually had even gone to the same school as me, who were,
in Belfast.
In fact, who were 5-10 years my senior. What really resonated with me was, they're people that sounded like me, that came from the same background as me, that were doing fantastically well. You talk about characters like a guy called Paddy Luft, Robbie McDonald, Matthew Montgomery, who are all sort of at director level at Espace. Who've done fantastically well, and that was the clincher for me.
Right, social proof.
Yeah.
You can actually see these guys are where I'm from, and they've made it, and they convinced you.
Exactly. And I think, for 2 counts, I've stayed and I've really enjoyed the time and seen the success there. Is that, as you said, time in the business. What that gives is a huge amount of data and social proof. I think we've got something like 50,000 client data points on the CRM through that long period of being in business. And also, colleagues who might have been and gone or who are still 10 years at Espace, many times they will have worked with clients in the past that I'm coming across in the present day who've sort of done the legwork in terms of cementing the trust, showing what we're capable of and the standards that we work to, which goes a hugely long way. As a real estate agent, you're managing transactions that are people's life savings in many cases, are huge portions of their net worth, and having the benefit of them knowing the brand, knowing how we work, and trusting that, is immeasurable. You can't really put a price on that.
Yeah. Yes, it's been since 2000. Roughly do you know how many brokers there are roughly?
There's over 200 now.
So it's definitely one of the bigger players, isn't it?
For sure.
Yeah. And as you say, Marina offices quite prominent.
Yeah.
And
it's great. I never have to travel more than 5 minutes for a viewing.
Do you walk to it?
For my sins, I don't. It would probably help the waistline if I did do a bit more walking to work. But
you could, couldn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. We were talking about personal branding earlier, and you were talking about that's something that you want to work more on. And it's just a question of time, is it? That obviously you've got a number of properties on with Bayous, with Property Finder, and your leads just come from that. Why do you feel you need to improve on the personal branding?
Well, you make a good point because, I know plenty of people who do incredibly well in this industry that don't have any form of social media presence. I've enjoyed success without that also. But it's an undeniable fact that moving forward, especially in the next 5 to 10 years, I told you about my sort of ideas and predictions for how AI is going to change this field. I was sort of outlining that from the point of a client's inquiry through to qualifying them, answering their questions, building a rapport with them, even up to the scheduling, I don't think there will be a place at all for a human broker, thanks to AI, in that process.
Providing all that information.
Yeah, the only point at which, you're going to be active as the broker is, the first point is going to be at the viewing, and then probably negotiation as well. But what that means is there's going to be a far greater emphasis on your personality, your likability, what makes you different, what makes you interesting. And the biggest way that you can sort of future-proof yourself to still perform in that environment is going to be with the online personal branding, which, I haven't made efforts with. It's a bit foreign to me. I never really had social media.
Yeah, but the weird thing is here, and I know we discussed it earlier, I've looked at 1 or 2 of your LinkedIn posts, and you haven't put many out, but the popularity of those posts is quite incredible. You're getting hundreds of reactions, likes, loves, claps, all that sort of stuff. Right up there with some of the top performers, real estate agents in Dubai, and a lot of them are recruiters that get those sort of numbers. What do you put that down to?
Well, I think my inexperience with social media actually gives me, a bit of a different perspective on the rare occasions that I do sort of put the stuff up on
I think it's because you're a very likable character. So you got all the people in the office that have a lot of respect for you and think, right, we're going to get behind this guy and push it up.
Well, you're very kind.
And then that obviously helps the algorithm, so more people see it, and it's just a snowball effect.
I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure that's a part of it.
You're too modest to say that.
I think again, it's the fact that I'm not on social media. So whenever I'm putting something out, it's just genuinely what I feel, what I'm thinking, what my thoughts are, which seems to
very
resonate,
genuine, very
resonate with people.
Authentic.
Because you see a lot of the same stuff just sort of recycled, and it all gets a bit samey on LinkedIn anyway.
Yeah, well, I know you've chatted and had a bit of a consultation with James Glass.
Yeah.
And I'm organising an event where he's going to be presenting and training. So you said you'd come along to that. So
yeah, definitely.
So that's in a couple of weeks. So that'd be great.
Yeah, because I told you I've met James before. I've met him quite a few times, and I did one of his one-to-one training sessions before. And I think really where the huge benefit is that, especially if you're with a big brokerage, even if you're not, you're going to be learning by proximity. You're going to be taking on the lessons of people that sit next to you, maybe some of the real killers in your brokerage you might have had the chance to get a coffee with, or even in an informal setting, learn some things from them. But, to really be at the top of any field, you want to be a continuous learner. And, there might be few things, if not a lot of things, that you're missing out on if you're only getting your learnings from within the firm that you work from, no matter how good the firm that you work for is. And, the nature of this industry is that, there is no one worth their salt, other brokerages, who are ever going to, give you half an hour, 40 minutes, sit down with you and tell you all of their secret sauces. It just doesn't happen.
Yeah.
So what James offers is, a good alternative for an outsider's point of view, and that ability to pick up some things. But
also at your own brokerage, you will get lots of good advice. I'm sure you've had you've had great training and all the rest of it at Espace. But people are still acting up to a point within their own interests, aren't they?
Correct.
And so having a consultation with somebody like James, and there's other people out there, I think is a really good idea.
Definitely. And I would also, because you picked up on something there, which is, because of course there's plenty of different ways that information is shared, and different techniques or strategies are shared. But a lot of my biggest lessons have purely come from proximity to the killers on my team and in my brokerage.
Yeah.
Literally just from sitting next to a guy who would be a top 1%er in my community. You're always listening in on the calls in the background. You're seeing how they work. You're seeing the order of their work. You pick up a lot.
You're only going to benefit from that, aren't you?
For sure. And that's one of the big benefits of Espace as well. You have a long list of industry stalwarts that you get proximity to. That goes a long way.
Yeah, you probably don't want to go into too many details with James, but can you sort of talk about anything where he was able to help?
There were quite a few. I mean, I think the biggest learning was his advice on reverse engineering processes.
Right.
And, I can be someone that becomes quite obsessive with the present. I think that's an easy trap to fall into as a broker.
Yeah.
What am I going to achieve by the end of the calendar year? What am I going to put on the board this month? And what he prompted me to do, which he was quite right to, was, hang on a second, let's zoom out and have a look at, where you want to be next calendar year. All right, we've established that goal setting. Now, how are we going to get there? And he really breaks it down to a granular level of really the daily amount of output that would be required to achieve the numbers that you're setting as a goal. Which and again, I think it's an easy trap for brokers to fall into, because we're so busy in our day to day. It's good to have someone there
working on the bigger picture, really, aren't you?
To prompt you to take a second and actually, do some future planning and goal setting.
Yeah, working on your business rather than just the day to day.
Yeah.
And that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Quite a lot of people that watch the podcast are maybe in the UK or Ireland or from elsewhere. Do you want to give a bit of a Dubai pitch? Why do you like Dubai? And I guess you see the next few years here for yourself.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, because we were talking again about culture, and a lot of people say that, well, one criticism they have is that, there isn't a huge amount of culture compared to these more historic European cities, low culture, low history. But actually, what we get in return, the culture is hustle, is opportunity, is collaboration. I was saying that even if I'm in the lift or I'm at Spinneys, small talk so quickly devolves to business.
Absolutely.
So if you are sitting in another part of the world where business does excite you and economic opportunity does excite you, which isn't everyone, but if that is you, there is really one place to be at the minute, and that's here in Dubai.
Yeah.
If the art and the history is more important to you, then probably better to stay put, because it can be, especially if you're trying to make it in real estate or in any business field here, it can be brutal. Because we have the best of the best from all different industries coming to this
where
place.
there's a lot of money and opportunity. It's going to attract the top people, isn't it?
Yeah.
But if you want that culture and you want the other stuff, you're not trapped here 12 months of the year. I know
exactly.
what you've said earlier is if you take time off it, then it isn't always great. But as you become more, you're still only a couple of years in, aren't you? As you become more established and you want to go back to Europe or other parts of the world, you will be able to take more time off, and so you can kind of have the best of both worlds. One of the things that I love here is just people such as yourself that are so aspirational and trying to better themselves. And I just love that about people.
I think that's an energy of the city as well.
Oh, well, absolutely.
And, success might not necessarily be championed in other European countries.
No.
In fact, in many cases, might actually be looked down upon. And I think that spells a lot for the economic outlook of different European cities. If we're not championing, that's one thing the Americans do really well. When it comes to big entrepreneurs, they celebrate them like NBA stars or movie stars. You go back to London or Ireland, if anyone's doing any well, they get their car scratched up and it's presumed that they've sort of got one over or stood on a bunch of people to even get there.
Yeah, it's funny you say that, because although I've never been to the US, but of the podcasts I listen to, most of them are American. Yeah. Even within real estate. Yeah. So much to be learnt from those guys.
Yeah, and I think we benefit a bit from that same culture of championing success here.
Yeah. And before I let you go, future for you, sort of next few years, what do you see?
Next few years, definitely remaining brokering in my area. One thing that's unique to marina brokering is, it's such a high volume of transactions and deals that you're working on. So the amount of exposure that I get as an apartments broker to all of the different skill development and skill acquisition of brokering is far accelerated compared to some villa brokers. So I would like to stay in my lane, and there's a lot more that I want to achieve before I would even consider looking at, any other field or any other area. And there's numbers in mind that.
Yeah, well, it's uncapped your earnings, isn't it? Yeah, because you're on commission, percentage commission, and the potential is huge. And at the marina, is it a roughly 200 towers?
Exactly.
Like
yeah.
I don't know how many apartments that is. You might know that, but
I don't actually.
But it's obviously tens of thousands, isn't it? If not hundreds of thousands. Yeah. So tons of opportunity.
And that's what keeps the job interesting as well. There'll be some villa communities where there might only be 5-10 different layouts.
Yeah.
Whereas for us, you're always finding, even if you've been in it for a couple of years, you'll still come across weird unicorn layouts or come across sellers that have something you haven't seen before. And it keeps the work really engaging. In addition to, that high volume of people that you're interacting with, deals that you're trying to close. So it keeps it very engaging. And again, that exposure, it's gone a long way for me.
Yeah. We've mentioned sort of the slight lack of social media, but what's the best way for people to reach out to you? You are on LinkedIn, aren't you?
Yeah, so everything's on LinkedIn to contact me. You can search also Josh Milton Edwards on Property Finder as well and make an inquiry through there. But I've got all my information on LinkedIn.
Yeah, well, I love the way you come across, being friendly, authentic, and that's your sort of USP, isn't it? And I think the future's really bright for you. So
thank you very much.
Really appreciate you coming on today.
My pleasure. It's been an honor.
Thanks, Josh.
Thanks.